Good morning. My name's Travis Lipp. I'm one of the Operations Section Chiefs for Rocky Mountain Team 1. Today is Sunday, August 25th. We'll go over an operational briefing for today. First off, we'll start. You'll notice there was an increase in size. The fire's now just a little over 68,000 acres. We did get an infrared flight late last night, so that gave us a better idea where the perimeter was. I will caveat that there are some areas that this perimeter is a little bit bigger than we think it is. We continue as each day goes by, we got our resources out there, continue to ground truth where exactly that perimeter is. But for the most part, it's accurate, but there are just a few areas like up north here where this may be a little wider than we really think it is. With that, we'll get started with today's operational briefing. We'll start over on the east side in branch 6. We'll start down on the east structure group that's working around the Stanley area here on around Highway 21. So today we continue our structure group and Kilo continue to work together around Homestead, Crooked Creek, Iron Creek community areas, continuing structure prep and continuing to assess and get ready should the fire turn and come towards these communities. We are, based on weather projections in that Monday evening, Tuesday, Wednesday time period, we're expecting a wind shift to come more out of the northwest. So with that, today's primary focus is around Homestead and Crooked Creek. We may even implement some firing around these communities later in the evening as conditions allow. We'll assess those conditions to secure around Homestead and Crooked Creek. Those would be the first two priorities, because until that wind shift out of the northwest, we're still going to see that southwest push. So fires closest to those, we'll prioritize that and start there. Again, maybe as early as this evening or later this afternoon. We'll then continue as conditions allow. The next spot would be Iron Creek community. So we are working with locals and getting approvals, utilizing some existing roads. We're looking at this road and then this trail that comes all the way up here into Alpine Lake area, up into the wilderness, looking at possibly doing some improvements along this road. And then once it hits the wilderness boundary or the trailhead, looking at sending some crews up in there to just do a little prepping, maybe cut a few snags, light cutting up into the lake, so that we can run the fire off up into the higher area here where there's more rocks and less vegetation, and slow that fire spread to the that's going to the southeast. Again, that's in preparation for this wind shift that's coming up, here in the next 2 to 3 days. So at the same time this work's going on, we hope to have our equipment and resources in here getting this ready in preparation to have this fired out also before that wind shift that hits in a couple days. And then we're also continuing to assess some options that ties this back around into Highway 75, utilizing some existing 2-track roads, hand line, that type of stuff to tie it back into Highway 75 to protect the community of Goat Falls and Stanley. Moving north, we continue to have folks snag along Highway 21 so that we can keep it open for access. Continue to have folks up in cow camp today, continuing to mop up and secure that area. Moving further north, where this fire made its push across this finger right here, this is one area we think it's not quite as wide as it's showing, but we do have crews in here today assessing some options to utilize some existing roads that come around here, come around the west side, up to the north side, and then looking at some options, utilizing crews, maybe some heavy equipment to tie in back up to the north side here. Again, what we're looking at doing there is when this wind shifts, we'd have that in place and preventing that northwest, the southeast spread back down towards the community of Stanley and surrounding residences. Moving around into branch 4 into this Papa Mike area. A couple things going on in here. You notice this chunk of fire up here around Dutch Lake. We'll have folks in there today assessing that, seeing if there's any options that we have to keep that fire spread south of Highway 21. Just don't want it to push across 21, so we'll have folks in there assessing that. We'll also have folks from Division Mike in here on the west side of Highway 21. There's not a lot of options, but we'll continue to assess these options from a north-south spread as this fire continues to make a northerly push. Is there options we can do to stop that spread to the north? Continuing down into Whiskey, coming over here on the west side. Again, we got we're utilizing UAS drone again today to do some IR flights for us along in here to continue to assess this section of fire. Also, not only where the fire actually is, but this warm creek springs drainage right in here to look at that in and around Hanging Valley area. Again, we have a huge presence in our west side structure group. They'll continue to work around the summer home areas, continuing to mop up and secure, working that Hanging Valley area. And then we have folks out towards the 10-mile area, looking at options of what we can do going south of 21. At the same time, we'll continue to have folks work down towards the Loman area. We are going to start today and in the following days. You'll see resources increase on this west side. As we get additional resources in, we will continue to send more over to the west side. They'll be stationed, or they'll be staying out of the Loman area to do the work on this west side. So we'll continue to come back and check all those areas where fire's been around. We'll continue to check all those homes and continue to mop up around those. I should say, coming back over here, I talked about the UAS. When we fly it for IR, we have the option to split them in half and do two. We'll also be over here in this Kilo and in this country on the east side over here around Stanley, looking at flying some IR to just get a little more accurate idea of where the fire perimeter actually is as we assess to begin possibly implementing firing operations. We do continue to have a full night operational period. Our night resources again tonight, they'll continue to focus. There's a east side night operations group and then a west side operations group, with the main priority through the night is continuing to protect or work around the structures. And then over here on the east side, if we get into any firing operations, those night resources will continue those firing operations from the day operational period. I think that's it for today. Thank you.